Hello everyone, welcome back to more Fatal Frame 5, and I still have no internet. This blurb here talks about how Haruka went missing. We saw that in that cutscene. It seemed like she was being led away by her lesbian lover. It says friend, but you know she's a lesbian lover. And then it brings up that case that we saw in Hizoka's room at one point. Yuri remembers that there's another missing person's case file that Hizoka was looking into. That being Miyu Hinasaki, who went missing here looking for her mother. And we know how these situations usually turn out. Hopefully it'll be different. Miyu is actually the first character that we played as in this game. If you remember all the way back to the prologue. Daughter of Miku from the first game. And the third game. And to a very minor extent, this game. I really like Miku as a character, but I really wish they had left her out of this game. At least when they brought her back in the third game, it made sense. She was a supporting character, and she was going through something similar to what the main character was going through in that game. Both of those characters were going through survivor's guilt. And I know anybody watching this knows this because, of course, you've seen my LP of that game. That's going to get on my nerves a few times during this chapter. This chapter is unnecessarily long. I'll talk more about why that is as I move forward. I do fast forward and cut some of those moments where I'm trying to pick up an item and get the where do I go button instead, just to save time. But for some reason I'm actually collecting items in this chapter, at least at the start. Oh look. We can't even go 5 feet without trouble showing up. Showing its ugly, stinking face. Don't you have better things to do? To be fair, it's probably pretty boring being a ghost. I could see where a ghost would get bored and want to haunt people. Unless you do like Thor and I were suggesting a couple videos back and use that as an opportunity to go explore the universe. Which is probably what I would do. But you would still be cut off and couldn't interact with anything. So that would still kind of suck. Get out of my way. Looking at how bored I am without internet, I can only imagine being a ghost would be really fucking boring, so if you saw somebody show up in the area that you're haunting, actually yeah, I could see where you'd want to pop in and say hello. But there's still no need to attack. That's just rude. Being dead is no excuse for a lack of manners. They could at least have ghost manners. I also cut most of these ghost hand moments just to save time. They do get pretty annoying. I was originally going to split this chapter up into 2 videos, but that didn't happen. So this is the other side of that tram. I definitely appreciate this shortcut. Makes life a lot easier. Although I have the distinct impression we are going to have to go through that woods at least one more time. Probably the final chapter. My understanding is that chapter is quite long. I'm not sure if that's how the chapter will go down, but it would make sense to have the player revisit all the locations from the game in the final chapter. We'll have to see how that goes. I have mentioned that I have seen a couple of LPs of this game, but that wasn't enough for me to get to know the game very well. Give me! Oh, it's just reading material. Alright then. Wanted something nicer, but that's okay. And when it comes to Miku, I'll talk more about her later. Once she actually shows up. I do have a lot of issues with them bringing her into this game. One of the main issues being that her story ended in 3. And then, well, you'll see the other big issue I have. It's not a really strange direction to take a character whose story has already ended or anything. Nope. Not disgusting at all. But it could be worse. It could be what they did to Aya Bray in the game that was supposed to be Parasite Eve 3. then wasn't for legal reasons. Alright, well, we are back to where we were before. For the most part, I should start to get to know this area quite well. I'm not sure what I was looking for here. But no matter, time to move forward. And I got interrupted by a knock on the door. I got a package. My new Jill Valentine figure I ordered. I've got a couple of her. Those who know me know she is my one and only favorite game girl. Although our gal Friday here is quite beautiful in her own right. And of course, Claire is, at the very least, my second favorite, if not 1B to Jill's 1A. Not really sure. But either way, that arrived. So that's cool. I also really like Ayame from the Tenchu series. At least mail's running again. It would be nice if they would fix the internet, though. I know by the time this posts, none of that will matter, but it's annoying me right now. So I'm going to complain about it. All those items are there every time you come to this room for the first time in a chapter. I don't really show much of me picking up items in this game, because I buy out the shop. Let's just say when it comes to the points that you can use as currency in the shop, I've seen to it I have plenty so that I never have to worry about running out of points. And no matter how much I get to know this area, I'm always going to have trouble with, stupid ghost hands, finding the opening in the railings to walk through. Especially coming back, I have a lot of issues with that. That's just going to annoy me. Unfortunately. Not so much on this path, but coming back is hard for me to see. Especially when the camera changes because of an event. I guess you could say a cutscene of sorts. And then throws me into a different area and I'm not sure where I'm at. It takes me a while to realize whenever that text comes up on the screen I need to hit, I think it's circle on the PlayStation controller. And here are a couple other items that are here every time. The next time we come to this area, we won't be able to walk over here, which I'll show, much to my dismay. Herbal medicine, always nice. And when I say I buy out the shop, the max you can carry of an item is 99, so I go with 99 Type 90 film, since Type 0 is not in the shop. And I can see the shiny. I could see it on video, but I'm not sure if I could see it when I was playing. We will get there. Unfortunately, this item here, the Type 0 film, is not in the shop. Which is very sad. Because, like I said, these items don't carry over. Which I'm none too fond of. So I buy out Sacred Waters, Mirror Stones, and Type 90 film. Probably should include Purifying Embers, but I don't really use them that much, so the ones that we start the chapter with are generally okay. Plus there are a few littered about in each level. So what we're essentially doing here, it looks like we are tracking down Miyu's movements before the start of the game. Yes, game, I know. That's what I was talking about before, where the camera will change like that. And then I end up thrown into a different section and don't know where I'm at. Oh, God. This sound gets on my nerves. Again, not because it's scary, but because I can't help but think, oh God, what am I going to have to deal with now? And of course I should know the answer to that question already. The answer is, this ghost is what I have to deal with. I get more annoyed because I think to myself, damn it, now I have another inconvenience to deal with. So I'm guessing since Haruka went missing, she's probably dead now. I talked about that a little bit last video. Damn it, let me stick my hands in you. Yeah, I got one.
There is no escape. I've seen you now. It is time to end this. This is the fate that awaits all who come to the mountain.
It sounds like we should just not come to the mountain then. But unfortunately, it seems like it's a little bit too late. We've already been. Does make you wonder why certain places in fiction aren't either nuked or just blocked off. I'm thinking this area, for example, or Silent Hill. Maybe the town Buffy lived in. But then we wouldn't have a show or a game, so I guess we have to put up with illogical thinking. I am okay with a little bit of a suspension of disbelief as long as it's kept to a minimum, and as long as the work of fiction follows its own rules. Unfortunately, most modern shows don't do that. I'm not sure what that is supposed to be when we are tracking down a character like this, because she's not dead yet. I don't know if she dies, but I'm assuming she doesn't. At least if you get the good ending. Because those aren't ghosts we're taking pictures of, since we're just seeing where Miyu was going before we caught up with her when she was in that box. Yeah, girls in boxes. Now don't get me wrong, if I opened up a box and a cute Japanese girl was inside, that could be cool, as long as she's alive. If not, then I would have some explaining to do, and that would be awkward, because I would have no idea how she got there. And you know the cops aren't going to believe that. So probably just best to not receive a box with a cute Japanese girl in it. Which is very sad. Because one that looks like Yuri would be quite nice. I'm rambling because right now there's not much going on. I wonder if this is some sort of psychic trace or something. The energy of the area allows us to see where Miyu came from. I'm also not sure on the timing of these events. How long ago did the prologue take place with me walking around in there? Some of that might get answered in files that, as I've already talked about, I don't read. And if you think I'm bad for not wanting to read files, I have a friend who doesn't even like watching cutscenes. Speaking of files, and speaking of annoying ghosts, this one's weird because it seems like there are only certain times where I can actually hit her. And she seems to have the same type of attack as that other ghost that we fought when we came in here. That or I'm just missing altogether. That could be what's going on too. I've mentioned it before, but having another character named Miyu is kind of weird considering that was our playable character in Fatal Frame 2. Totally different character though. And I'm not sure what her fate is. I know they talk about her in the third game. I think she might actually die, but I'm not sure. The third game's story was kind of weird. And it seems like the people who made this game either didn't work on that one or forgot about it. I don't actually know if you need to come in here, but since I did, I figured I might as well show it. The only thing in here is a ghost and a herbal medicine. So we will go pick that up. Just to show it. As soon as the game lets me. I'm still not in love with the button mapping in this game. Oh, you again. Always up to no good. Yuri didn't do nothing to you. But you're still hitting her anyways. Rude. You're not exactly special. This is already my second encounter with you, and I'm gonna see you a few more times this chapter. Yeah, I don't care. So that's all that's in that room. To be honest, what's in there is really not worth going into this room for. And yes, I did dry her off. With one of those purifying embers. We can't have our girl Friday running around all wet all the time. Can we? There are times when a girl being wet is a good thing. But I'm not going to get into that. I think we all know what I'm talking about. Damn it, game, just open the frickin' door, alright? So this is the thing that bugs me about this chapter. It feels like this part is game padding. So we have to come all the way here just to have a look at this box. And we get one of those locks. And I got attacked by a ghost while trying to do this. But I cut that just to save time. Pretty sure we see that same ghost again later on this chapter. So you're not missing anything. In one sense, that's fine. That's what this series does. You find an area that you need to go or a lock you need to unlock, and then you go around to look for essentially a key to unlock it. But in this case, a lot of times it's taking a picture of something else that unlocks it. A talisman, if you will. But this is going to be a pretty significant chunk of this chapter. Because in order to break that seal or do whatever it is we need to do to unlock that lock, we are going to have to search for 3 more things to take pictures of. Technically 4, I guess. We got to find a thing that lets us know we got 3 things to take a picture of. Which means backtracking through this area a few times. This little quest adds a significant chunk of time to this chapter, which is already pretty long. And I don't necessarily mind backtracking in games when it feels natural, but this just feels forced, and like game padding. And I don't like it when something feels like padding or feels formulaic. Something like the Spencer Mansion in Resident Evil 1 feels a lot more natural because it makes sense that you're trying to figure out what's going on and find a way out, and you have to unlock all of the doors in order to accomplish your goals. And this chapter took me a while to complete. Probably a good hour and a half at least. So there's more Type 0 film. Is all. So far I have not used it yet. Although you can rest assured, once I get to the final boss, if I have any of that, I will be using it. It would be nice if the Type 0 film would appear in the shop at this point. And of course, that file triggers this ghost showing up. He's a git. When I was editing, I noticed the little arrows on screen that the game's librarian was talking about a few videos ago. I'm assuming the red ones are letting you know what direction the ghost is in. But I can't see those while I'm playing. I can only look in front of me. Unless I actually look to the edges of the screen, which means I can't see what's in front of me when I do that. So I have to do the best I can. That really caused problems in the God of War games 3, Ascension, and Ghost of Sparta whenever the QTEs would show up on the different edges of the screen, and I couldn't see them. It would make sense the game would have something to give you an idea of where the ghost is, considering how often they teleport or fly around. They are definitely more interesting enemies than the typical zombie that you have to deal with, because they have very few limitations. They don't just shamble towards you, which I would prefer. Here's the thing that lets me know I need to take 3 pictures to break whatever seal this is, and then be able to unlock that box. I think we actually do pick up a key in this particular quest. I do pick up a key because I have to come all the way back here in order to pick it up after taking those 3 pictures. If it was just walk back to this area to get the key to walk back to the box area, I wouldn't have an issue with it. But now this is going to send me on a wild photo chase. It's definitely not the worst thing I've seen in a game, it's just, it adds time to an already long chapter. At least it's one where we're playing as Yuri and not Ren. Or Harry, I should say. I keep calling him by his wrong name for some reason. I do wish at this point we knew our characters better and that there was more going on in cutscenes for the story. One thing I'm noticing is in those blurbs, in particular, the one for this chapter seemed to repeat a lot of the same information we already got. Oh, geez. More ghosts. There's actually 2 of them here, and I don't think I realized that there were 2 when I was playing this. I will obviously figure that out as I go, but still. I mean, honestly, Harry Potter's assistant, I think we know more about her than we do him. We know he's clueless to the fact that she's into him. Which is kind of weird because those 2 look kind of similar, actually. I actually thought they were twins at first, which would make her being into him really awkward. Though not out of place for this game. And apparently he's got something he's feeling guilty about, or he thinks he killed somebody. I'm sure we will find out more about that as we go. How can you be in 2 places at the same time? If these ghosts are supposed to be spirits of one dead person, I don't see how they can have multiples in the same area. It's one thing with the different priests and monks in the second game, because they had multiple priests and monks. And those blind dudes, I forget what those were called. Mourners, maybe? So it makes sense you could have multiples of those. Unless these are supposed to be multiple shrine maidens. Which, maybe that's what they were going for. But that's about it. I know that she's interested in Ren. I know that Yuri, at least at one point in her life, was seriously considering self-deletion. Otherwise, I don't really know much about these characters. So, very important here. You have to be quick at what we're about to do. I found this quite annoying. So, you need to take a picture right away. I was a little bit late to the draw. So I thought, okay, I'll just go ahead and pick up this file, which I guess at that point, once you miss it. The next key we need to take a picture of is on that ghost for some reason. I'm not a fan of that. This took me a long time to get. And when you miss, it spawns a ghost. And sometimes this ghost wouldn't respawn. It is on a loop, so it will show up again. But I had a hard time getting that one. I had to go back to the door that I entered this room in order to get it to respawn consistently. And for some reason during this chapter, my game crashed, which caused my video recording to mess up. And I was really worried I was going to have to replay all of this, and thankfully, Bandicam has a fix video option, so I was able to save the video. And yeah, it took me a while to find this one too. I was really dreading having to replay all this. So far, this is my least favorite chapter. Although, as I said before, at least in this one, I'm playing as the best looking character in the game. So that's something. Granted, I'm not focusing on that while playing. I was more focused on my irritation with this chapter. And some of the mechanics with this game. Alright, now that that's out the way, we can actually go all the way back to that box. That may not seem like that big of a deal, but when you add that to everything that you have to do for this chapter, it's pretty frustrating. Not really difficult, except at least for me taking that one picture on that ghost. But time-consuming and tedious. And my thought was I was going to cut any ghost encounters on the way back just to save time. However, this one was nice enough to go down so quickly that it didn't really matter. Much appreciated. I wish all ghosts were as accommodating as you were there. Anyways, let's get out of here. We got places to go. And I'm really trying hard to not continue to complain about my internet. So now we have to go all the way back to that area with the candles. And I missed the door. And it looks like I used another ember. Which is probably helpful. If you stay wet for too long, I think it starts to drop your health. Don't quote me on that though. It's probably very obvious I don't know a whole lot about this game. I wish I did, because I like sharing info about the games I play, but unfortunately I don't. Fortunately, there's not another ghost spawning in here. But now that we've done that, we got to go all the way back to the box, which we saw at the start of the game, so you should already know what's inside. Spoiler alert, it's a cute Japanese girl, which is what I want for Christmas, or my birthday, or a Tuesday. Okay, to be fair, she doesn't even have to be Japanese. That would be ideal, but not required. I like to be open-minded. I am very accepting of the girls that show up at my place in a box. Although, like I said before, mandatory, she must be alive. Just to be clear, I'm not that much of a creeper. And I think this is a scripted encounter. In addition to my game crashing while I was playing this chapter, which thankfully the save point was not far away, or checkpoint I guess, I also had this game freeze a few times, so that made editing more interesting. Can't you just let me take the girl out of the box? I want to unwrap my present. Let me have my Japanese girl, damn it. I'm pretty sure in the prologue we saw Miyu get put into this box, so I'm not spoiling anything.
Mother?
Mew, let's get out of here.
Who are you?
Come on, we need to go.
I came here to save my mother. But I failed. I couldn't do anything. I have to find her soon, before she disappears.
Unfortunately, we've had a lot of people disappearing, and since her mother is Miku, we should definitely get on that because I do like her despite what they keep doing to her by bringing her back. Although I did say her appearance in Fatal Frame 3 was good and definitely fit that game. And I don't know why Yuri couldn't bother to say her name. Would have only taken a couple seconds. Oh joy! The screen is distorted and there's a ghost that we can't kill. Which is kind of funny to say considering ghosts are already dead. And this ghost is an insta-kill ghost, so if she touches you, you're dead. which is less than ideal. I've never been a fan of the screen going all wibbly during those sections. They did that ever since the first game. I think in all 3 games, whenever you came across a ghost like that, the screen would get black and white and very grainy. So the effect is different here, but this game also came out almost a decade after the 3rd game. And I don't particularly enjoy either effect, considering if you have an insta-kill enemy, it would be nice to be able to see where I'm going. You know what, Ghost? You're annoying. Hello, beautiful. At one point fighting this ghost, I thought I'd got her and was going in for the fatal glance. Might be this bit right here. Yeah, this bit right here. She's not done for. Or there were multiple ghosts, one of the two. But I'm pretty sure she just wasn't done for. So this one-hit ghost is why I wanted 99 stone mirrors when coming in here. We are not done with her either. And this was the worst part for me. And she can't teleport in front of you, so you don't want to get too far ahead of her. I was not aware of that at the time when playing this. So you can get ahead like I'm getting now. Things seem alright. Not too bad. My biggest problem here was I couldn't see the door. I think I was off by a couple inches. So I saved y'all all the misery that I went through when trying to find that door. I was not happy at all. I don't know how many stone mirrors that chewed through, but probably a lot. And that's the only bit that I had issues with throughout this whole running segment. Otherwise, it's pretty straightforward. I think you're safe once you get here. Yeah, the creepy sounds stop playing. And you would think that would be it. The chapter would be over. No. We gotta keep going.
We should get out of here. This mountain isn't safe.
I know.
Yeah. But both of these characters are going to come back before the end of the game. That's not a spoiler. The game is obviously not over yet, so you know we gotta come back here. For some reason the power is out, so we have to come in here and flick a switch. But first, ghosties. Because we haven't had enough ghosts already this chapter. And at this point, the game had already crashed. It's a long chapter. I just wanted this chapter done. Yeah, you act like you're the one suffering. I'm the one that had to play this. And I'm the one who doesn't have internet. Think you got problems. Jerk. Try walking a mile in somebody else's shoes for a change. Ain't always about you. Although, thank the metal gods, we are almost done. And I did get the mod to work to uncensor this cutscene we were going to get, which is nice. And it's nothing. It's not even a big deal. I don't know why they censored it in the first place. But whatever. Let's flip the switch and get out of here.
I went there to save my mother, but I couldn't do anything. What should I do?
You know, Miu, you could have helped. It didn't have to all be on Yuri to open that. Oh yeah, that's right, kids. You only thought the chapter was over. Oh, you sweet summer child. No, we've got more to do. I think at one point I was going to try to pick up this item. Nah, at a certain point I just said fuck it. Once I saw it was just an herbal medicine, I didn't really care. Again, at this point, the game had already crashed, so I just wanted this done. I still didn't know if the video that I had recorded up until that point had worked out or not. I was still worried I was going to have to replay all this. And yes, I healed. I'm not sure what that is supposed to be. Obviously a ghost, but it didn't seem like a combat encounter considering it only took one shot to take it out. And there's another ghost encounter you can have here. I run right past it because I don't care. I can just imagine it showing up. We're going to see that ghost again, actually, in this chapter, so it's not a big deal. I can just imagine he's coming out of a car thinking, I'm going to be creepy and scared. Hey, wait. Where are you going? Where are you going? I actually like that area because it's a very big open area and it's clearly obvious where to go. I wish the rest of this game was like that. Oh boy, as if we haven't had enough combat encounters already. You guys! I'm sure they just wanted to say hello. One thing that would really help this story is if more characters interacted. We have a lot of characters going solo, which I understand this is a horror game, so they're going to do that, but if we got more interactions between the characters, it might help progress the story a little bit, which would really help me not feel so disconnected to the story. So I did end up finishing that show Wednesday. I actually binged it all in one day. You should be sorry. I would say it's pretty good. There is some obvious anti-male stuff in there, like every Hollywood project these days, but it's pretty minor. The male characters are complete weak bitches. Pretty much they all suck. The sheriff is okay, but the rest of them are weak bitches. But it was still an alright show. I will give Season 2 a watch if it ever comes out. The next show I'm going to try watching is called Peripheral. Has something to do with a VR game and some kind of shenanigans happening from that. Yeah, getting crumpled up in a box, and I assume dumped in this black water. Not fun. This game still has some disturbing things that happen, or alludes to, but the game itself is not scary. Granted, I don't really find video games scary anyways. And this is that ghost from before that I ran past. He's not that impressive. You didn't miss anything by seeing his original encounter. Except seeing him crawl out from under a car, which is how he got killed, and you'll see that in a sec. Let me put my hands in you. Jesus. These people should really stop trying to piss off ghosts. They get all murdery. So going back to talking about that cutscene that for some reason was censored. The only thing that changes is the outfit that Miyu is wearing in that cutscene. They went with an unlockable outfit. I think that's only available in Japan. Oh, that's right, kids. We're still not done with this chapter. So that makes this game the second game I have successfully modded, which I'm proud of. I know not a big deal for most people, but I've never modded a game before. The first one was Signalis, which there was a mod to add 2 extra inventory spaces, and I was able to pull that off. I might have mentioned that this playthrough, probably did, but oh well. Thankfully, we are almost out of here now. We are back in that area that Harry Potter and his assistant were walking around in. Which is actually the same building that Yuri and Hisoka went to in their first chapter.
Maybe after this, I might even be able to save Mother somehow.
No one is picking up at Mia's place. I'll try again tomorrow.
I have to go. One more time.
Ren, do you have a moment?
Yeah.
Mother.
I think what we should do is stick our hands in her, because that would not be rude. It would actually be rude if we didn't.
You really think I can make it? I'm nothing. I'm empty. That's how I can become anything. I do exactly as I'm told. I know what you want all too well. It's so dumb. It's all lies. And lying only hurts more, right? So idiotic.
I'm not sick anymore. 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 I'm not sick anymore.
Don't you do that again. Ever.
To be fair, that was kind of rude. This text is just repeating what we just saw, except it does mention that it is possible that Miyu has similar abilities to Yuri. That's it for